floor to standing desks are seriously niche, but they basically do what a regular standing desk can do and then some. Think of them as standing desk plus. In the last couple of years, we've tried and tested what are possibly the only 2 real contenders for a full-time floor-to-standing desk. And today, we'll pit them against each other for a showdown of epic proportions. In one corner, we have the vanguard of this space, the Lowdesk Pro, formerly known as Uphill. And in the opposite corner, we have the new challenger, the Flowdesk from marinamantra. Lowdesk versus Flowdesk. Who will come out on top in this contest? Let the battle begin. First, let's consider design from an aesthetic point of view. The Lowdesk Pro looks familiar and recognizable. It's close to how you imagine a standing desk to look like. There's a bit of that practical, heavy machinery aesthetic to it. It doesn't offend, but it doesn't stand out either. Obviously, looks are subjective, but in our opinion, the Flowdesk has a visually more refined and cohesive design. There are less hard edges, and the wooden tabletop paired with grey felt covers give it more of a warm and considered vibe. Now that said, this cohesive design comes at a small cost. At the moment, the Flowdesk is not customizable. It comes in one size, 2 different colors, and you can't just order the legs and slap your own tabletop on it. With the Lowdesk Pro, you could. If you don't like their tabletop options, from laminated tabletops to bamboo and wood, then just get the legs and complete the desk with your own. In fact, if you're outside of the US, you might just have to do that, because as of the last update we heard, Lowdesk no longer ships tabletops internationally, so that could be a pro or a con depending on your needs. When it comes to extras though, the Flowdesk fights back. The grey felt covers hide cables, and there's also a built-in tray at the back to manage power strips and additional cables. Although it's not the most spacious and could be a bit of a tight fit if you have bulkier power bricks. With the Lowdesk Pro, we had to purchase and install our own cable tray. We didn't spend too much time organizing the cables perfectly, which is why we usually try to avoid filming the underside of the desk. We don't have to do that with the Flowdesk. So if you're obsessed with having immaculate cable management, then you'll most certainly be happier looking at the underside of the Flowdesk compared to the Lowdesk Pro. One of the main inconveniences of the X-frame style legs of the Flowdesk is that there's less legroom compared to traditional straight column legs. This is especially true when the desk is at the lower settings and you won't be able to stretch or straighten out your legs in front of you. You won't have the issue with the Lowdesk Pro, so if you like to sit with outstretched legs, then this is definitely something to consider. However, the X-frame style legs is what allows the Flowdesk to go lower than the Lowdesk Pro, which is important if your primary objective is to use it as a floor desk. Both of these options have a similar amount of travel. We measured 82 cm with the Flowdesk and 80 cm with the Lowdesk Pro. While it may just be a 2 cm difference, the Flowdesk can actually go 5 cm lower than the Lowdesk Pro. If you're of average height, this could be the difference between the desk being usable or not usable without a floor seat. In our case, the Flowdesk is borderline usable for us without a floor seat, whereas we wouldn't want to use the Lowdesk Pro without one. It is rare for us to sit at our desk without an elevated floor cushion, so this is not a deal breaker, but a lower minimum height is nice to have and could be the difference maker for some. If what you're more concerned about is speed, then you may want to know that the Lowdesk Pro is quite a bit faster than the Flowdesk. On top of moving vertically, the legs on the Flowdesk move laterally as well, so some speed is lost there. Here you can see a comparison of the two desks moving the same travel distance, with a lighter setup on the Flowdesk no less, but still is about 35% slower than the Lowdesk Pro. Frankly speaking, we've never been bothered by how long it takes either of these desks to go up and down, but we can understand how some people may not want or have the patience to wait for the extra few seconds whenever adjusting the desk. But with speed comes noise. The Lowdesk Pro did surprise us a little with the motor noise the first time we used it. It's not obnoxiously loud, but because we were trying a standing desk in a quiet environment for the first time, the noise was something that stood out. It doesn't bother us in subsequent day-to-day use, it's just something we observed. The flow desk, on the other hand, also surprised us in the noise department, but in a completely different way. It is super quiet. At the bottom of its operational height, the desk is practically silent. When our fans are running and there are cars going by outside, we can barely hear the desk moving. As it enters the upper half of its operational range, the volume gets a tiny bit louder, but you have to be paying attention to hear it. So the flow desk sounds as gentle and refined as it looks. When it comes to stability, it may not be a huge difference, but the difference is there. The Lowdesk Pro feels slightly more stable throughout its entire operating range. It's rock solid at lower settings, and as it gets higher, it understandably loses some of that stability. The flow desk actually feels like it maintains its stability a bit better going from floor desk to standing desk. The issue is, it's already not as rock solid starting from the lower settings compared to the Lowdesk Pro, which makes us wonder if any instability we experienced with the flow desk might have something to do with the lack of micro adjustments on the desk feet to negate the effects of uneven floors. So a bit of a wasted opportunity. Still, both desks are stable enough for what we use them for, but we have to give the edge to the Lowdesk Pro. And lastly, let's compare price and availability. As of this video, the flow desk is priced at $1049 while the Lowdesk Pro starts at $1,300 with a laminate tabletop, $1,400 with a bamboo tabletop, and up to $1,900 for one with a wooden tabletop. In short, the flow desk is the more affordable option. Both offer free shipping for customers in the US, and as of the last update we received, marinamantra doesn't ship internationally, while Lowdesk does, at least for the desk legs, although international shipping could be quite costly. Ultimately, there isn't a clear winner in this contest. The question is, what do you value more? The flow desk, subjectively, looks nicer and has a couple more thoughtful design elements and useful accessories. It goes lower and has a tiny bit more range, is much quieter, and is also more affordable. The Lowdesk Pro is more customizable. You can get just the desk legs if you want. There is more leg room, it's faster, and it feels slightly more stable. If you're looking for a floor to standing desk, either of these could work. But depending on your specific needs, you may want to pick one over the other. What we've covered are the key differences between the two desks, but we'll also have a written article which will keep updating along the way with additional information we may have missed in this video. So check that out if you like and tell us, which of these two floor to standing desks would you choose?